interactive, and then our faculty members have a lot of queries to ask for. And online participants also, they are continuously interacting with that.
Okay.
You may please start, and as and when we have questions online, myself or Sandeep will be reading out the online questions, and our participants present here, they'll be asking their question themselves.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. So first of all, I'd like to say that I'm not an expert on accreditation process, but since I've been doing it since 2014, so I've acquired a bit of knowledge in this process, and recently visited to one institute in Mumbai, came back on Sunday only. So that was again for an accreditation of an institute for tier 1 category. I thought, since it's towards the end, I know that you have gone through various sessions talking about the accreditation, the OBE, the process of filling SAR and all those things. I just thought that I'll quickly take you people through the accreditation process as such, and then in another session we'll be discussing how to prepare an SAR. So we'll be talking about what accreditation is, because we've been speaking a lot about accreditation, but what exactly is it? What do we evaluate in accreditation? Because we have different kind of accreditation going on in our country. We have NBA accreditation, which is for a program. We have NAC accreditation, which is for the institution. So it's not that all the accrediting agencies do the same purpose. Their tasks are different. Against what criteria they are doing this, and why, and what is of OBE, and then evidence plays a vital role in the evaluation, and evaluators have definitely, they play a key role. What is accreditation and what it does to us? That's a basic question. Whenever I go for accreditation program at anywhere, I ask the faculty, I ask the staff, I ask the students, what is our motive? Why have we come? Why are you getting your program accredited? That's a big question. The answer is, it provides assurance about the program quality. It's not the grades which you are getting. It's not the recognition by the university or the institute of your degree. It gives you assurance that a student who has done a program from X institute meets the standards of the quality across the globe. And I've seen many of the institutions, typically when you go to Middle East, they are very particular about it. They would like to see whether the program is accredited or not. So it provides the assurance of the quality. Who are the stakeholders for this? Students and their parents, of course, but the institutions also, the stakeholders, the industry. They would definitely prefer an institute which is accredited, which is having a program accredited, the faculty and the government. What accreditation is not? We've been talking a lot, but the accreditation hota kya nahi hai? It's not a ranking procedure. It doesn't give you a rank, gold, silver, A plus, like in other systems. It's not a ranking process. It talks about the quality of the program. It is not an investigation agency. So the evaluators, when they come, they're not supposed to do the investigation part. They are not here to do the comments on any specific thing. They have come to do the evaluation part. It's not a regulatory body. It's not even an audit. There's a big difference between an audit and an accreditation. So auditing is basically weighing something, but here you see whether it meets out the global standard. So accreditation is not a ranking system. ABET again is another international ranking system. It does not rank any of the program in any way. I think all of you are aware about ABET? Yes or no? No. Okay, so what I'd like to just elaborate upon this is, our country, signed an accord called Washington Accord, wherein each country, whosoever has signed a Washington Accord, they have their own accreditation system, and that accreditation ensures the quality of the programs offered by that institute. So in India, we have National Board of Accreditation, which does the accreditation of the programs. And through the Washington Accord, any program accredited by NBA is to be accepted globally through the Washington Accord. And ABET is again another accrediting body, which is an international one, similar to National Board of Accreditation in India. Then what is it? It's a process by which the institution being looked at is given a seal of approval by the stakeholders in its activity as meeting their expectations. That's what the accreditation is. You all have had many sessions on outcome-based accreditation, education. What the definition is, I think it probably might have been explained to you. Defining, designing, building, focusing, and organizing everything in an education system on the things of lasting significance that are ultimately want every learner to demonstrate successfully as the result of their learning experiences in the system. So that's the definition of outcome-based education. It gives you a quality assurance. I'll not be elaborating much. It's a provide paradigm shift, setting up appropriate PEOs, securing commitments, obtaining resources. Another term which is often been talked when we talk about the accreditation is program educational objectives. Why does the program exist in the first place? Talks about the program educational objectives. It has to be answered by the management in consultation with the stakeholders about the program education objectives. The educational objectives of an engineering degree program are the statements that describe the expected achievements of graduates in their career, and also in particular what the graduates are expected to perform and achieve during the first few years after graduation. So it's not that randomly we define PEOs. We have to see to it that the graduates, how they use it in the first few years of their professional career. PEOs are broad statements that describe the career and professional accomplishments that the program prepares its graduate to accomplish. For example, a PEO for an academic program could be read like this: statement of areas or fields where the graduates finds employment. You can say an engineering graduate in mechanical engineering will find graduate in mechanical industries, thermal industries, automobile industries. So it should be part of it. It preparedness of the graduates to keep up higher studies. So it develops a temperament of research. So that could be a part of a program education objective. It should take care of the employment scenario. It's a shadow of IT, of course, is there. The NBA accreditation process. We have this system which involves program educational objectives. You need to understand about the graduate profile, program outcomes, accreditation criteria, course outcomes, assessment, and evaluation. Accreditation model, which trends with the modern trend, which talks about objectives and outcomes. Outcomes are measurable, and detailed evaluation guidelines are also to be followed. It accesses into two-tier system. It's a one-tier, first tier or two-tier system. Structure, again, that will depend upon the tier of the institute. It's a tier 1 program or a tier 2 program. The things which are linked into the accreditation, you talk about the infrastructure, the finance available, the admissions, the governance, the faculty. At the department level, you talk about academics, curriculum, objectives or outcomes, the students, faculty, staff, facilities, etc. So at the institute level, these are the things to be looked into it. And at the department level, these are the things which needed to be looked into it. The process, as all of you know, you first of all, you need to prepare a self-assessment report that is known as SAR. Then the institution has to evaluate yourself and bridge the gaps. You first fill this R, see to it whether you fulfill all the requirements. If there are any requirements to be filled into it, you have to bridge the gap. And then you have to see to it whether you fit in the pre-qualifier. Now, the National Board of Accreditation has simplified the task for everyone is that by providing a pre-qualifier. It was not there earlier. So pre-qualifier is a list of certain documents which talks about the student admissions, the SFR, the faculty details, and also it. So when you fill in, there are certain parameters which need to be checked into it. Once if the institute or rather the program is qualified through the pre-qualifier, then only they can proceed further for accreditation process. If you fail on a pre-qualifier, for instance, the admission percentage is significantly low or the student faculty ratio is very high, you do not qualify for further processing and you are rejected in the pre-qualifying also. Then once you find it that the pre-qualifier is accepted, it is to be sent to the evaluator after finalizing the assessment date. Evaluators, they go through the pre-qualifier and they go through the SAR, and once they do it, that's a homework which has been done by the evaluators. After completing that process, they find out certain key areas and key points to be verified in the institute, and the visit has been made. And once the visit is made, there is a systematic arrangement. There is a detailed schedule being provided that this is going to happen after that and so on. So the evaluators follow the same process, do the evaluation, gives their grade, and accordingly the program is found to be accredited or not, that depends. So pre-qualifier plays a very vital role in this. In most of the cases, if an institute qualifies for the pre-qualifier, and the details mentioned in the pre-qualifier are correct, then there is a great probability that the program will get accredited at least for 3 years. Accreditation criteria on which to make the judgment for a simple tier 2 arrangement. I think these had been discussed in the previous presentations or not? So we'll be quickly going through this. Criteria, vision, mission, program, educational objectives. In criteria 2, program curriculum criteria, program outcomes. Criteria 4, student performance. Criteria 5, faculty contributions. Then you have facilities and technical support continuous. Now these criteria 1 to criteria 7 are evaluated by the evaluators which account for the program, and the criteria 8, 9, 10 are being assessed by the chairperson of the committee. So there are 2 groups doing the evaluation of the complete SAR. First part, whether that is the program specific or the department specific, is being evaluated by a group of evaluators which has come for the specific program, and criteria 8, 9, 10 are taken care of by the chairman of the committee. This is for the tier 2 as per the old system. Nowadays there are certain variations in this. Then there are different subcategories for each category. There are certain marks. This is how. So for the evaluator, the total is 780. For the chairperson, 220. He has to evaluate. And then in criteria 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's like this. These numbers, they vary upon whether the institute has gone for tier 1 or tier 2 category. Of course, we do not only provide the marks, we have to see to it the grades are being mentioned. So if in any particular category or subcategory, the department or the program gets marks out above 75%, It's been mentioned why. If it is between 60 to 75, it is C, that is a concern in that particular domain. 40 to 60 is a weakness, and less than 40, it's a deficiency. How to make the judgment? You need to provide the evidences. Yep, these are the grades, but in most of the cases, you can do the calculations. So it's more of a quantitative assessment, and that's the main advantage of the National Board of Accreditation is majority of the parameters are quantitative in nature, wherein you don't have to be judgmental. Whatever the values are, they are obtained by calculations. At certain places, it's qualitative. So how to make the judgment? You need to see to it that these parameters are met out or not. Outcome of the education provided for any program, quality assurance process, including the internal reviews, assessments, activities and works of students, entry standards and selection for admission of the students, motivation and enthusiasm of the faculty. Now, these are the things which are very important. Before going ahead, I'd like to just elaborate. What happens is, since I've been doing it quite long, and I've observed in many of the institutions, the management of the institution, they, train the students and the staff that you have to speak this in front of the visiting team and so on, right? But eventually what happens is the evaluators can easily judge out whether whatever he is speaking is true or it's been asked him to do. So, and that talks about the satisfaction level. Recent institute which I visited, people were openly talking about the dissatisfaction with the management. So it's not that only during the last moment you can do such kind of preparations. It gives you an all-round impression of what is happening in the institute. For the last 1 month or 2 months, if you start working in the system, that is not going to affect the assessment process. Qualification and activities of the faculty members. Here, you can easily find out whether there is a cohesiveness in the team working, that is the faculty members as well as the staff members of the department, whether they are working in sync or not. That is also been observed by the evaluators. Then faculty, whether you have a well-qualified faculty members or not. Infrastructure facilities, again, play a vital role. Laboratory facilities, library facilities, industry participation. It's got a significant role in the assessment and the organizational defects. So these are the parameters on which the evaluators judge the program by seeing certain documents. Yes. No, there are certain things. It's not only by the assessment. There are specific points whether you have a faculty appraisal system or not, right? If the faculty appraisal system is, we will be evaluating the appraisal forms, we'll be seeing them, interacting with the faculty members, and in order to get a clear-cut picture of how the things are moving in the institution while interacting and discussing upon the appraisal process, because in many of the institutions they don't have a proper faculty appraisal and the feedback on the appraisal. So that discussing that point will indicate everything. Yes. Huh? Yes. It's not that you have appraisal, faculty appraisal system, but faculty appraisal system needs to have a proper feedback. It's not a faculty filling up an appraisal form and his job is over. What happens at the end? It should be going to the head of the department, then to the higher ups, and then based on the feedback, there would be certain recommendations, and that feedback should come back to the faculty member that these are the areas you have done good, these are the areas of improvement. So that is the feedback. That is, I mean, in your institution, it is there. So that feedback system, if it is there, Yes. If it is there, in many of the institutions like this, it's not well. For the namesake, they have an appraisal system, and based on the appraisal grades, they give the increment. That's it. But no return feedback. So that is required. If it is there, it's well and good. That's what is being checked. And that feedback, if it is there, that will talk about the satisfaction level of the faculty. Uh-huh. Okay. There are a number of ways industry interactions can be enhanced. It's not only taking a lecture or having an industrial visit. It's not only that, right? What is the level of consultancy which you are giving to the industries? That is also in industry participation. How many industry people are coming? And that is giving a lecture is something different. How many people are going in industries for their recruitment? How many students are doing projects with the industries? How they are associated in the curriculum development? Hmm. It's that's I've said, not only the talks. Huh. Huh. So who are the industrial people associated in your academic council? Huh? How many industry people are associated in the curriculum development workshops? That is industry interaction. So if you have industry interaction in all these things, huh, and of course, if there is some consultancy, it will add upon it. So you need to have, I mean, it's not very difficult to invite faculty, industry people to your curriculum development workshop, get them associated in the academic councils, uh, asking them for internship of the students. These things are easily written. Mm. Huh. Huh. It is in the next part. I'll try to show it. Specifically mention if the industry is involved in curriculum development, this much. So it's going to be affected over there also, over here also. And you can ask industry people to deliver the lecture also. How many people are taking part load in terms of, say, in particular subject, one particular chapter is being taught by industry people. That is also industry involved. So there are a number of ways by which you can involve the industry. It's not only the consultancy. Right? Shall we move ahead? Discussions with the head of the institution. So that mostly happens with the chairman of the committee, deans, head of the department, program, and the course coordinators. These discussions are there. Members of the management to discuss how the program fits into the overall strategic direction and focus upon the institution and the management support of continuing funding and so on. You need to interact with the faculty members, you need to interact with the alumni, students, and the parents. So every visit, these kind of interactions are there. Exhibits, what are the exhibits the evaluators look when they come for evaluation? Profile of faculty involved in the program. They check their qualification, their research publication, their projects, PhD supervised, and so on. Evidence that the results of assessment of the course outcome and the program outcomes are being applied to review and ongoing improvement of the program efficiencies. This has been assessed by the evaluator. List of publication, consultancy and sponsored funded research projects, sample materials for theory and laboratory courses, sample test and semester examination question paper for all the courses, sample of test and semester examination answer scripts projects, assignments, student records of 3 immediate batches of graduates, sample project and design reports, sample student feedback form, whether you have a proper feedback mechanism or not. Sample for industry institute interaction, that's what we've been discussing. Results of quality assurance reviews, you might be having a AQIC. Records of employment and higher studies by the graduates. Records of academic support and other learning activities. Other documents that evaluation team of NBA may request. But there is a list being provided. Sample test semester examination question paper for all the courses. You need to have the sample test papers and the semester. That means for the past 3 years. Evaluation में अब ये quickly होगा. Vision, mission, program outcomes, course outcomes, consistency and interaction amongst these matrices. So since it's already been discussed, I'll not be elaborating much upon PEOs, assessment and all those things. It's a cyclic process. Program outcomes, graduate profile to be achieved through the teaching learning process and the assessment of the graduate profile. Once all these documents are there, the program gets accredited. Otherwise, you need to revise the system. We examine only the 2 criteria for this particular category is the program outcomes and program curriculum. Role of the 2 criteria is we have to see to it that it hits the PO. Program curriculum should meet the program outcomes. Curriculum and the teaching learning process should be there, and attainment of POs indicate that the job is well done. So attainment level plays a vital role in this. Curriculum, assessment and evaluation are the major tools by which the program outcomes are attained. We all know this. We should look at all these together. These needs to be designed well. Structure of a typical engineering curriculum should contain the basic sciences, humanities, and the program specific courses, which could involve core as well as elective courses. We need to check the content delivery, the laboratory work, and the project work. So for a typical curriculum, these parameters are to be there, which in fact are there, but you need to specify them. Will we be able to attain POs under the curriculum? That is being checked. Participants in the curriculum, faculty, industry, academicians, students, alumni, and academic bodies. So they are the participants in formation of the academic curriculum. Framework में क्या होता है? PEO, then you go for PO, curriculum and course outcome. This is what is being done. Curriculum design का flow करोगा. You need to define first of all PEO, the place starting design alongside the NBA program. Can you cover all POs within the credit limit? If yes, then sequence requirements are met. Else you need to go back. This is simple, which has already been probably might have been discussed to all of you. Curriculum design कैसे करेंगे? Teaching learning, course outcome, program outcome. If it is true, the job done. They need to be interesting. Criteria program 2 outcome. POs formulated for each program by the institution must be consistent with NBA's graduate attribute. ये already आप लोगों को बता चुके हैं, तो मैं ज़्यादा इसमें डिटेल में नहीं चाह रहा हूँ. POs must foster the attainment of the POs mapping of POs and PEOs. How and where POs are published and disseminated. ये graduate attributes हैं. They have already been discussed. Should I read out for you? This has already been done. That's why I have said engineering knowledge and all those things. 2-term assessment and evaluation assessment is one or more process that identifies, collects and prepares the data to evaluate the achievement of program outcomes. उस program को मैं मतलब इस चीज को ज्यादा मैं इलाबरेट नहीं करना चाहता. Part A, evaluators. This is another very important thing. Is whenever the program gets evaluated, great significance is being given to the student projects and the assignments. Starting from allocating the project till final grades, every step counts in the assessment process. And the same happens with the assignment. So assessment in the project report, it's not only the project report, it is the allocation of the project, allocation of the supervisor, and each step of the assessment has to be properly dictated or mentioned in the system. Project topic, method of allotment, progress of the semester, evaluation, and all those things, that's already been done. So what has changed is now we have to make assessment against POs that have declared as creating the required profiles of the graduate. It's not the simple way of assessing it. इसने कितना कर लिया, अपने मार्क दे दिए उसके अंदर. We have to see how the POs are mapped with the assessment process. Over. Ah, okay. What happens is, there are different ways of talking about this, and in different places, different methods are adopted. But the most simplest way of doing this is when you talk about number of hours per week. It's not the number of total hours. Number of hours per week. If it is a theory subject, which is being assigned 3 hours per week, it's a 3-credit course. That's been followed here, na? It's exactly like that. If it is a laboratory, half credit for 1 hour. It's as simple as that. There is no confusion in that. Now, what happens is you cannot exactly calculate on in terms of the semester, because one semester, this particular semester, even semester, is a smaller semester. So number of days in which you get to take the classes are less as compared to the odd semester. So normally it happens. So it's a simple process. Number of hours per week of any subject or any course defines the credit of the course. Yeah, as per the timetable. As per the timetable. It's as per the timetable. 3 hours per week are allocated for this course. So it's a 3-credit course. Huh? Yeah, I couldn't get it. Tutorials. Okay. Yeah, I was about to come to that. Tutorial is treated same as that of a laboratory work in many of the places. In many of the cases, half. And many of the places. Huh? 310. But what happens is, then they make it to a 4-credit. They make it to a 4-credit. No, Alice, for a teacher, it will depend upon the class strength. See, that's why I'm saying what normally is to be done, instead of doing all this, you see, in order to uh, meet out the requirement of completing the course, you have to divide it accordingly in a reverse engineering to see to it how many hours per week you need to spend. And that's the simplest way of doing it. Huh. No point, but again, it is 0.5 over there, but when you cannot give credits in points. No. One credit. But, and the reason, there is a specific reason for a tutorial. Again, you need to divide the class into several batches. A teacher would be requiring, if it is a 60 student class, he'll be taking the same tutorial for 4 times, isn't it? 15 students in one section. So for a teacher, the teaching load would be 3 plus 4, 7 hours. Is it like that over here? So how do you have? You have a smaller batch for tutorials, don't you? Huh? Right. So now, as sir has said, if you are not reducing the batch size, it automatically means that a faculty is spending 1 hour over here and it is to be given a full credit. And just for the sake you have made it as a tutorial, it's a part of a lecture. Yes, yes. Shall we move ahead? Ah. The divided. Matlab, purpose of a tutorial is not met if you are taking the entire class. It is as good as taking a theory class. Hmm? Uh, you know, class size should be 60, and when you divide it into batch, that will depend upon the availability of the faculty. A batch could be of 15 to 20, not more than that. 160. For theory, it is okay. But when you divide into the subsection, then you need to have the smaller batch sizes. You need to have more number of batches. I don't know, how do you perform the experiments in the lab? So, so that means you are running 2 or more parallel labs. So it's as good as this. Hmm. Right. No, why? I don't know what kind of arrangement you people have. No, it is not like that. That means uh, the the batch is not going to have only one lab or tutorial in only one subject. Need to be staggered. Uh, say a group 1 would be going to X lab, group 2 would be going to Y lab, group 3 would be going to, and that will be rotating. So in turn, out of, in one particular lab, in total labs you have 4 instructors. हाँ, okay, हाँ, ठीक है. That is because because of your facilities availability is the infrastructure का है आपका खेल. Otherwise, you could have taken these students into 4 different rooms. It's as good as having 4 different sections in 4 different. Yes. ठीक है? Shall you move? Mid-semester and end semester examinations, tutorials, home assignments, project work, viva, seminars, employee feedback, and so on. These are the typical assessment tools. Then the evaluation criteria and all those things, I'll not be discussing much upon all of them. Typically, these things are available on the website. For criteria 1, just for example, state the vision mission of the department. The evaluator doesn't have much option. It is quantified. Availability of the vision mission statement in the department. If it is there, he has to give 1. Appropriateness and relevance, he has to give 2. Consistency of the department, he has to give 2. So the evaluation guidelines are straightforward. There is no scope of any ambiguity. Then I'll quickly move back. For each and every criteria, this is the evaluation process. I think it's already been discussed. Had it been discussed? Right. So I'll not discuss much about it. Yes. Continuous improvement. It's quite simple. Action taken based on the results of your evaluation of each PO and NPOs. For a particular program, you define POs. For a course, you define POs and PSOs. There might have been discussed about the rubrics. And then based on that, you see to it whether there is an improvement on the rubrics or not. So you need to documentize those POs and POs, identify the gaps. You have to mention over there that these were the gaps, and to bridge those gaps, these are the efforts being made for each and every criteria of the course. Then you need to talk about the academic audit and the action taken. So whether the institute has done academic audit, you need to provide the academic audit report, the dates and the correspondence and the notices for academic audit, and the final minutes of the academic audit has to be mentioned. It depends. You can have one in academic year also. That's one could be done. I know. You need to. It talks about the regularity of the academic audit. It's not necessary you have academic audit in every. There is no specific criteria. There should be external members from the academics, from industry, from the employers, and so on. Then, after academic audit, you need to mention about the employment, whether the placements are increasing, decreasing, or consistent, and the quality of the students being added. These are the criteria as well. Okay. Admitted. Academic audit is basically you do the audit of the entire curriculum. Best thing is the notices, circulars, the minutes of the academic audit, the action taken, the gaps. What happens is in academic audit, you discuss each and every course in the program. For a course, you see to it, you assess the question papers, the assignments, the result outputs, the attainment of POs, and based on that, you find out what were the gaps in this, what is required, and then again the feedback from the alumni, from the students, from the employers. For this particular course, what they want. Are they satisfied with, or there are any requirements based on that? And then based on those observations, you put in a report that this particular subject needs this portion to be added into it, or this is additional. Yes, yes, it's already been, since you're doing it regularly, that is there. Huh. Yes. I mean, in academic audit, you'll not audit at the time of audit, you'll be showing it. But in the minutes, if it is mentioned, then the evaluator will not be asking again, because he'll be assessing all these files for the criterias. But here again, he'll not be asking. Yes, yes. And I mean, every year, it could be every year, it isn't. Yes. Huh? I mean, what happens is, there is no specific guideline that you need to have external only or internal only, and you need to have both. It should involve that you are having external, say maybe one semester you have internal audit, another semester you have external audit, and so on. Yes. Yes, board of studies is different. It's board of studies. So board of studies take decisions based on the academic audit. Huh? Hmm. Right. Hmm. So that's the gap which has been talked about. You need to modify your curriculum. You need to improve the teaching learning, so that the benchmark has been met. It's not that you lower down the benchmark and that the job is done. It's not that. Hmm. But you can teach content beyond the syllabus, wherein you can provide some input to the students so that they can meet out the requirements. And of course, there is a lot of scope in teaching learning process that will help. Okay. So these are the things. Then once in tier 1, after the first evaluation and the second round, you need to fill in only these many criteria. That's it. So I think we should take rest for some time, and then we'll go for another session. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. So we had been discussing in between.
Online participants, if you have any query, you please write it there in the chat section.
We can wait. Huh? Okay. 3-5, and as I said, I'll take up close to 1 hour only, because just a minute.
I asked this question several times, but still I have some ambiguity, and that is on the FSR, faculty student ratio.
I could not get it. Can you?
It is about the FSR, faculty student.
SFR.
Faculty student ratio, yeah, SFR.
SFR.
Student faculty ratio.
We speak SFR, student faculty ratio.
SFR, student faculty ratio. So in that case, I need to remove the first year faculty when I calculate the SFR for the criteria 5. And for the criteria 9, I have to take the first year student, first year faculty. Now, in our case, first year is not the institute core. It is that some departmental subjects are there in the second semester. which is only taught by the department and faculty to the department and student. And one course is there that is a basic electronics. It is only in the first semester, and it is taught by on the student will take the course. Okay, so for the basic electronics course, there is a 4 hour, 3 and 1, 3 lecture hour, 1 teaching hour. So one tutorial hour. So 3 and 1, 4 credits are there. So if there is a 4 batches are there, so 4 into 4, 16 hour is there per week. Okay, so for the 16 hour, I or 4 faculties are involved on this. So I reduce the number of faculty 4. Should I remove the 4 number of faculty?
It's not that. Now, partial load criteria has been removed from this process. We don't go for partial load. What has been done for first year? Either you have a dedicated faculty who is taking first year load. That is to be removed.
There is no. There
You
is
don't
no
have,
faculty.
in most of the cases, it's like that. They don't have a dedicated faculty, and there is a part load sharing. I mean, faculty is taking a first year load as well as second year, third year, and so on. Right. So that has been eliminated. The concept is straight away that you need to count for 16 hours. For each 16 hours, you need to reduce 1 faculty. That's it.
Okay.
So if, say, for instance, in any department, you have 20 faculty members and you are taking one particular course of first year, which is being shared, which is taking 16 hours of load. So in the department, you have to show only 19 faculty members and the students of second year, third year, and final year to get the SFR.
Okay, and in that case, for the tutorial, I only involve 1 hour, not the 4 hour, right? So there is no problem on that. For the tutorial hour, I will take the 1 hour, not the 4 hour. Means
no. 4 hours.
3 hours for the lecture, 1 hour for the tutorial. For the 160
So
students.
that is 7 hours.
Then it is 7 into 4.
7 into 4.
Not 4 into 4.
No. That is 7 into 4. If the batch size is 160.
If the batch size is 160, then how many faculty should I calculate for the first year?
I mean, this is, you cannot do it the jugglery the way you are doing it. It has to be verified and documented by the timetable.
No.
What I'm saying, if the batch size, I mean, you might have reduced the batch size. If the class size is 160 and the batch is of, say, 80 each. 160. The class size is 160. Class size is also 160. Then it is the same. You need to count one. It is.
Then it is a 4 hour.
Then it will be 4 hour. Okay. If you are dividing it, that's what I'm saying. You need to produce it in the timetable. The chairman will be evaluating, doing the calculations for SFR for the first year. He'll be checking the timetable and seeing how many hours are being used. Is it okay? Sometimes the question comes in the same, I'll continue with that. Sometimes in the same question comes that there are some courses which are being taken by the faculty of the different department. What to do for that? Do you count them in your department or not? NBS straight away said you don't have to do anything for that, because there could be a course which is being offered to another department wherein your faculty might be taking a course over there. So you don't have to do anything for that. Only for the first aid you need to do it. And there is that allied department, whatever the department is, if they are taking any course in your program, it's okay, but that will not be counted. It is only the faculty in the department. Right? Shall we move ahead? Normally, it should be considered as half, but it's normally been considered as 1. Because nowadays, NBA has simplified the things very, and they've made straightforward. There is no such thing like contractual faculty or something like that. Everyone is to be counted. There is no separation between regular faculty, contractual faculty, and so on. Visiting faculty, there's a mention at another place. Adjunct is again, that's it. Those are at another place. Those are not part of a regular faculty. Visiting faculty is basically, they come for a semester, and since they are not for one complete year, they cannot be considered as a full faculty of the department. That's the main reason. So I think we can have a break.
Sir,
Yeah.
for the criteria 6, there is a point called e-content development. So if someone have the YouTube channel, can I take it a e-content development? I can take.
Yeah.
YouTube channel, but maybe it is not affiliated with the NMIT. He have his personal YouTube channel.
Even
then I can take it.
Yeah. Pardon?
2 or 3 videos. It should be a complete course of 40 hours.
Yes, I mean it should not be one particular chapter. It should cover the entire course.
Means the video size should be 40 hours. Video size should be 40 hours. Total video size.
There is no such thing like 40 hours. It could you could make YouTube multiple YouTube videos catering the requirements of that particular course.
पूरा सब्जेक्ट होना चाहिए.
Yes. So ऑनलाइन में तो कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है. ठीक है. ठीक है.
Okay, we'll break for maybe 15 minutes from now. Online participants, we are taking a break of 15 minutes. We'll be starting this after 15 minutes from now, maybe somewhere around between 25 to 30. And then we'll have the next session starting from 25 to 30 around somewhere by Professor Dilip Sharma only. So let's take a break and come back again. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Welcome back, participants. We are starting the session now. After the break, Professor Deep Sharma would be starting a session with the preparation of SAR for NBA. Sir, you may start now. Online participants are there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So few of the slides might be of from the older version. So basic thing in SAR is known to all of you, but I would be just highlighting few points to be considered in each and every criteria, and those criterias might be different in different categories. So for a SAR, you can see that there are different criterias, and one by one we'll see each of them. For different tier, you have different weightages for the criteria, but more or less the criteria are almost the same, and they require to be covered whether it's a tier 1 or a tier 2 accreditation process. So for instance, let's talk about one by one. Is the state the vision mission of the department and the institute, and it says you need to talk about its availability. The vision statement typically indicates the aspirations, and the mission statement is the broad approach to those aspirations. What has happened in most of the cases, what we have observed is people have randomly written the vision and mission statement for their institute as well as for the program, and they keep just follow it down and they see to it that say 4 or 5 institutions vision mission statements they take, and they copy and find out some gist of it. It's very simple to develop a vision statement. It should indicate the aspirations instead of straight away copying it from somewhere, and the mission statement should be the broad approach to achieve those aspirations. So it should be written in a simple language, easy to communicate, and should define the objectives which are out of the reach of the present context. That's it. The department vision and the mission statement should be consistent with the institute's vision statement. Definitely should have a consistency. Vision, it is a futuristic statement that the institute would like to achieve over a long period of a time, and the mission is the means by which it proposes to move towards the vision. So there is a difference. People often get confused between the vision and the mission statement. It clearly is explained over here. So for instance, we have a vision statement to emerge as one of the nation's finest institutions in the field of technical education and research through focused, effective, and sustained monitoring of its program and resources. Mission is to develop high quality professionals ingrained in ethics, wisdom, and creativity for the betterment of the society. As simple as that. How do the evaluators look into that criteria? These are the points which everybody knows is availability of the vision statement of the department and the institute. If it is there, they're bound to give 1 marks. Appropriateness and relevance of the statement, 2 marks. Consistency of the department statement with the institute statement, 2 marks. Hence, the institute vision and mission statements have been asked to ensure consistency with the department vision mission statement. The assessment of the institute vision and the mission will be done in criteria 10. That will come. in the coming slides, because there is a mention about the process of approval. Now, how the evaluators look into it? They see the availability of the vision mission, the correctness and the definition of the perspective, and consistency between. So these are the things which evaluators look while evaluating the program. State the program education of objectives. You need to define the PEOs under the following broad categories: preparation, employment for higher studies, core competence, discipline knowledge, professionalism, professional values, knowledge development, and lifelong learning. So these are the 4 core domains which need to be looked into. Listing the program educational objective 3 to 5. They have to be maximum 5 in number. The program consideration. Only it has been checked is the availability of these things. Examples: graduate will compete on global platform to pursue their professional career in electrical engineering and allied disciplines. PEO2 graduates will pursue higher education and or engage in continuous upgradation of their professional skills. Graduate will communicate effectively and will demonstrate professional behavior while working in diverse fields. PO4 graduate will demonstrate concern for the society and environment. So these are typical things. Indicate where the vision missions are published. These are the things which have to be mentioned. I'll not elaborate upon them. State the process of defining vision mission. That was being asked. We have to ensure the effective participation of stakeholders, the effective process implementation, and you need to provide the documentary evidence for preparing the vision mission document. Description of the process involved in defining the vision mission of the department, it's of 10 marks. So when you have all these things available, you'll straight away get 10 marks. Description of the process involved in defining PEOs of the program, you get 15 marks. These are the things you need to take care of while ensuring these things. PEOs, this is the flow chart of the entire process. You have a feedback format for collecting the data from the stakeholders. So you need to have an evidence of the feedback form, a process by which PEOs are created and reviewed periodically. That needs to be available, a process to evaluate to what extent PEOs are attained, and a review, midterm correction, and the continuous quality improvement. So you need to have these documents. Then I think I can skip all these things. These have already been explained to you. Criteria 2, when we move, is the program, curriculum, and teaching learning process, although probably might have been taken care of. But again, when you talk about the state, the process used to identify the extent of compliance of university curriculum for attaining the program, you need to show to it that you need to you have the process being mentioned in detail, mention the identified curricular gaps and extent of compliance. These things are being looked and checked by the evaluators. Yes. That's a process being explained probably in many of the previous those were explained over there. So the documentary evidence is being checked by is to indicate the process which ensures the mapping and the compliance of the university curriculum with POs and PSOs, identification of gaps, if any, effective participation of the department stakeholders with effective process of documentation. So all these things have to be, every criteria needs to be well documented, because documentation is the key to success in accreditation. That's it. One should never leave any point or any column blank. Identify the curricular gaps and the appropriateness for identification process. The content delivery beyond the syllabus, additional courses, learning materials, content, laboratory equipments, projects, etc. These are in the category of content beyond. Teaching learning process, you need to have the process involving real life examples, collaborative learning, quality of the laboratory equipments, recordings observed, analysis of the data, encouraging bright students, assisting weak students, ICT supporting learning, and interactive things. These are the things which are known to all of us. Only thing is we need to document them. Academic adherence to calendar, use of various instructional methods and pedagogical initiatives, methodologies to support weak students and encourage bright students. Now, this is something which we very often miss when we go for evaluation. They have mentioned that we have a mentorship program for weak students, but there are no documentary evidences. So you need to provide those documentary evidences, what's been done to help the weaker students, how many extra classes are being taken, what is the mentoring process, how many the student has come to his mentor, and so on, so several ways. So the documentary evidences for that. Quality of the classroom teaching learning, it's been observed, the evaluator comes to the class and sees the class going on. Conduct of the experiments, the evaluators go to the labs while the students are performing the experiments. Continuous assessment in the laboratory. Now, continuous assessment in the laboratory, which we very often make a mistake, is towards of the end of the semester, we put signature on each of the lab record. That is not a continuous assessment. I mean, you need to mention on each and every experiment, on each and every turn. What I personally follow is on the very next turn, I ask the students to come up with their lab records, the entire experiment being written over there. I do grade there at that moment, and then see to it what are the POs being met in this experiment. So that has been mentioned by me, and then I give a grade on that. And typical assessment process which I follow is the regular submission and the grades for each and every experiment on the next turn. And then for the entire semester, I tabulate them, and then that gives me the POs being met. So these needs to be signed on every turn. An evaluator will straight away come to the lab and ask for a file, and it's been signed on a single day. No dates are there. So there you lose marks. Assessment in the laboratory, as I've said, student feedback and teaching learning process. I assume that you have a proper student feedback mechanism. When they come, they have every right to see the entire laboratory. They would see the laboratory timetable. They will see the do's and don'ts, the COs. They'll see the logbook. They will see the stock register. They would like to ensure whether any software has been purchased, when is it, how many licenses are there. They'll see the student lab records. They might see if there is a physical experiment, the products being developed. They'll see the evaluation process. They'll see each and everything in the lab. Yeah, could be. Anything could be there. But the assessment is being evaluated. How the grading is being done by the course coordinator or the teacher, right? Whether he was regular or not. What was the criteria of assessment? So that is being looked into. In many of the institutions which are doing very good, they've made a seal, and in that seal, they fill in this particular experiment was done on this particular date. They put the date, they put the CO which has been fulfilled by this experiment, and they give the grade. So there are different ways of doing it, but it has to be well documented. Regular evaluation and assessment is required for the laboratories experiments. Shall we move ahead? Quality of internal semester question papers, assignments, and evaluation. You need to mention the initiative, implementation, details, and analysis of learning levels. So the quality of the semester question papers is being checked, assignments, evaluation process, and relevance to COs. So I don't know whether it's been followed over here or not. While preparing a question paper, whether it's an end semester question paper or a mid semester question paper, do you mention the question, the CO to which the question is catering? Right, because that is very important. Unless until you do it, it will be very difficult to do the assessment. But in many places, which many of the institutions which are affiliated to some universities, they don't do it. For them, it becomes a big problem and they have to follow a different approach. But if it has been followed, do you have a moderation scheme for the question papers? You don't have. So while preparing a question paper for say mid semester paper, how do you do? Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Mm. Okay. So there is no specific committee which takes care of the quality of the question paper. Okay. If it is there, it's better because you need to have a consistency in the level of question papers. For a particular program in a particular semester, maybe one course, the instructor sets up questions which are at a very low level, and another instructor sets up at a very high level, and there would be a huge difference in the attainment levels. Mm. Uh-huh. Mhm. Mhm. Yes, you can have. You can have. That is your own internal assessment process. Uh, so that is your personal thing. It isn't right. Huh? Mm, right. So it depends from institute to institute what criteria you follow. Right. Like in our institution, it is clearly mentioned the midterm has to have be of this much weightage, and the end term has to be of this much weightage, and you can give this much weightage to the assignment. Right. But it is a thumb rule, and a person, if wishes, he can deviate for us. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It could depend from institute to institute, but there needs to be some clearly documented criteria. Course to course, if it is varying, it should not be doing it. It should be in general. But if a course coordinator says it needs to be approved by any specific committee being formulated for this purpose, that for my particular course, this cannot be followed, it might be maybe permission permitted. So there might be minutes of the meeting. That's it. The committee formation notice should be there, and approval of the minutes. Mhm. That's what I'm saying. It could be done, provided that committee, there has to be a committee, and if the committee, they don't, because there are certain courses which might not require the end to be a much higher weightage. It might, which might continuous assessment, wherein instead of having a single midterm exam, you can have 4 or 5 continuous assessments, and at the end term, you don't have the requirement to go for a uh, uh, towards the end term examination because you've been evaluating the performance continuously. And that could do. Yes. Subject means? Uh, mhm. What is the system in your institute? How the program electives program electives are being offered? Huh? you know, in order to float any elective, first of all, that curriculum of the elective needs to be approved through the Senate. Once the curriculum is approved, that means the department, the institute has approved the curriculum, and it could be floated as an open elective or a departmental elective as per the wish of the department. And then there would be a departmental faculty board. In our institute, we have a DFB. DFB approves that in this semester, these are the electives which could be offered in this particular. So that those list of the courses which could be offered in any semester should be available in the institute website so the student can know. So once that is there, the curriculum needs to be approved. Once it has been approved, so the elective can be floated. Huh? Huh? Right. Mm. Uh, no, it's not. It cannot be done like this. It cannot be done like that. I mean, there are specific baskets for electives within the department or as an institute elective. Say in particular semester you are providing with 2 baskets of courses. Now you want to add one particular course in one particular basket. You need to first of all get it approved through your departmental faculty board. Then it's to be discussed with the Senate whether it's worth considering it or not. Once it has been approved, normally in our institute, what we do is it has been approved for elective for the next semester. Mm. Now that is a very simple answer to this particular question. Is suppose you know electives are normally the courses which are faculty specific, and for instance a faculty leaves the institute, so it's as good as a faculty leaving the institute. If you don't have a wish, you can say that I'm not interested in taking this, so that elective would not be floated. That's it. Elective is a bucket. You have X and number of courses. That doesn't mean that you are removing that elective from the bucket. Maybe after a few years, another faculty member might come and he might agree upon that. That I'll teach this particular course now. Yes. Okay. Shall we move ahead? So, quality of the student projects, as we have discussed in the previous session, is you need to consider the following factors, but not limited to these: environment and the safety aspect of any project. It should not be that the student decides to go for any XYZ project and the project is hazardous to the environment or maybe hazardous to the safety. He needs to take care of the ethics, the cost associated. Because sometimes what happens, we allow the student or ask the student group to do an XYZ project, wherein your institute is not in a position to fund the entire project, and we put on the financial burden to the students. So that should not be there. Type application, product, research, review. Even the students can go for a review product. It has to have certain standards. The process related to project identification, allotment, continuous monitoring and evaluation part, demonstration of working prototype, stand enhancing and relevance of the project, mention implementation details including the details of POs and POSs. So these are the things which needs to be taken care of while allocating the quality of the student project. Subcase straight away, there are marks for that. Project identification and guide allocation process, 3 marks for that. Project classification, consider the factor for this, and standard for evaluating continuous monitoring mechanism, 5 marks. So for each and every part of the project, there are marks being mentioned, and evaluator can easily do the assessment in these criteria. Initiative related to industry interaction. We have discussed those initiatives in the previous session. Initiative related to industry internship and summer training. So whether there is a provision of internship, yes, industrial internship, summer training, assessment, impact analysis. Now here we lack. You have industrial training or internship compulsory as a part of a curriculum? It is mandatory. Right. So when you made it mandatory, there are some credits for this. So how do the assessment is being done for the credits? Okay. Okay. All right. So the process should involve the assessment of the industrial training, wherein the student would be asked to come in. Right. And then impact analysis. This is where people lack. I'll just come to it. This is where the institutions lack impact analysis in this. So here you need to pay a full attention about the impact analysis and the student feedback. Here the institutions lack on the feedback. Yes. Why? As I said, 50% marks would be given over there, right? And then assessment is there. First of all, you should discourage such kind of internships. First of all, that's number one. But if at all a student, you cannot stop him. If at all a student wishes to go there, that doesn't mean that you have to stop him. When the student wishes to go and do the training over there, he needs to come back over here and give a presentation of what he has done. Then you have very right to ask him how this internship is relevant to your BTech degree. Not necessarily in terms of mechanical, but how your knowledge has been enhanced in whatever domain. It's not necessarily mechanical domain. The knowledge enhancement has to be there. And that is the impact analysis of the training. It is not necessarily to be done in mechanical engineering, but he has learned some, maybe coding, maybe something else that has enhanced his knowledge. Yes. Yes. Like I could not get it. Uh, mm. Okay, you mean to say this particular activity could be used at multiple places? Huh, could be. Huh? There is no problem in that. Huh. Mm-hmm. Here's the difference. Here's the right. That internship is for a knowledge enhancement, right? But the project, since his degree is in say BTech mechanical engineering, it has to have some relevance in this. It has to meet out. That's what he has said. It has to meet any of the POs of the system. Hmm. But it is only one thing. Now the question straight away come: what is the mechanical part in it? And if at all a student could do, you cannot stop him. That's for sure. You cannot stop him. Role of uh, uh, uh. you need to correlate it with mechanical. You got the answer. You know, I mean, mechanical, fortunately, mechanical engineering department can cater many of the things because they deal with marketing, sequencing, flowing management. So moreover, management, whenever management comes, the project could be correlated with industrial engineering, ergonomics, and so on, whatever kind of project if he is doing it. So it's not, but of course, as I've said, one should discourage such kind of things which are, because this at this moment the student doesn't know what is good for, or what is bad for him. Right now he might be thinking that I'll get a marks and it is easy to do, I'll pass out. But after a few years, when he'll realize the importance of the final year BTech project, that time he will repent. So that should not happen. So, yes. Shall we move ahead? Course outcomes and all. So establish the correlation, and I'll not discuss much about it. Then attainment and all. This has already been discussed. So I think here criteria 4 had been discussed in detail. Students' performance, enrollment ratio. In most of the programs, these are a challenge, typically in mechanical engineering where the number of students are less. But here criteria 4 and criteria 5 are straightforward. Neither the institute can do anything about it, no manipulations could be done, nor the evaluator can do. Success rate without backlog, these are already, formulas are there, so you don't have to do anything for that. Placement initiatives. Now, what I would suggest you people to take care of this criteria. Students associated in internship. Many of the students, they have their own family business. They join it, but they never come back, and then you don't know how to do it. Try to get some details from them. Professional societies. Here again, in many of the institutions, you might be having professional societies and chapters, etc. But sometimes the institutions, they forget to mention about this. So availability, this much marks, quality of the events at state level as well as national level, publication of magazines and newsletters, participation in inter-institute events, all those things. So you need to have all of them to get marks. Faculty information, student. You know, I tell you, there is no clear cut. Institute should have the availability of these activities. Once you could produce the evidence for the availability, that serves the purpose. Huh? Huh? I got it. You say out of a class of 160, 2 students are only participating, right? But if you have an evidence and you can produce it, and that here is the judgmental aspect, and the evaluator, it goes to the evaluator how he takes the things. But normally the evaluator looks for the availability of these things. Maybe during the assessment period, less number of students might be participating, like during the COVID period, not many activities are there. But it doesn't mean that immediately after the COVID period, the institutes which have went for the NB accreditation, they lost on this. All kind of all kind of it. Should I move back? Huh? Table I have not shown. You tell me. Academic performance. Right. Yeah. Right. Hmm. Okay. The answer is very simple. In a class, please don't take it offensive. In a class, wherein say 60 students are there, and say it's a B.Tech electronics, would you bifurcate the students of different category? In a particular class, would you bifurcate the students of different category, maybe financially different categories? That's it. Why should we bifurcate that? Yes. Why should you? Because for a teacher, I mean, all the students who have joined this institute in a B.Tech program, right, they should be meeting out certain minimum standard. So that means they are of one particular level, and an instructor is teaching the entire class, maybe of a mechanical, electrical, electronics. His output is to be judged by the performance of the entire class. Yes. Is it okay? Professional activities. Then regular and part-time faculty member, there is no provision. SFR, we all know that it has to be less than 25:1, otherwise the entire program will not be considered. Faculty cadre proportions, you all know there is a clear-cut criteria for this. Faculty qualification. Hmm. Or you can. You should. There is no way out otherwise. Hmm. Hmm. Ah. But allied department means, I mean, that is also a part. They are teaching, they are also taking the first year classes. So what? They have to be considered. Because in that case, EC gets associated with CC. CC gets associated with CSE also. All three will be. Yes. That's the only way. No, that would not be fine. They have to be merged. So faculty retention, innovations in teaching learning, as I've said. Huh? Huh. You know, retention is, in fact, what happens is they see to it for 2 years only, and how many faculty members are required in that particular program, and then based on that, how many have were there for that period, and you find out the retention ratio. Normally, if the retention rate is above 90%, it's considered good. But there are clear-cut marks for that. There are specific marks for that, and you don't have to do anything about it. Look, what this is the best. 90% and above is considered the best. So, wherein if the faculty retention is above 90%, the evaluator is, I'm quite sure, he'll pen down that this institute has got very good faculty retention. Innovations, faculty development activities, then FDPs and all those things. Research and development, I don't have to elaborate much upon this. Sponsored research, there are clear-cut marks for that. Uh, uh, per faculty member. No, no such thing. It is judgmental. On an average, they find out, say, if there are 20 faculty members in the department and in a particular assessment year, they are producing well enough around 20 publications, that is okay. Developmental activities, faculty performance appraisal system. This is again very important thing, appraisal and the feedback, as I've discussed in the previous session. Provision of visiting and adjunct faculty members in many of the institutions, it's not there. It's okay. So they need to be there to take one particular course, and you need to produce evidence for that. 50 hours per semester. Per semester. It is per year 50 hours per year में नहीं है वो per semester ही है वो assessment में. हाँ ये नहीं ये this is from somewhere. It is some semester. Yes. हाँ वो भी डिस्कस किया है इन्होंने. भैया आपका कोर डिपार्टमेंट को कौन से मान गया? सेपरेट डिपार्टमेंट है सर. हाँ ओके. Before 2 years, what used to happen? EC was not having a certificate. Some CSE courses, some EC courses, we used to teach them. Now, from last 1.5 years, I think there is a separate formal department. Right. So what happens is the departments which are associated in teaching learning of a particular program offered by Y department. So that department becomes an allied department for that program. For BTech, say electronics, and CC becomes an allied department for that particular. It is not like that. It is irrespective, because allied department for that particular program. अगर आप CC का कोई BTech CC के अंदर बात कर रहे हो, for that electronics would be an allied department. It is. So what? So what? It is with respect to the program. The department which is offering a program. Okay. Then facilities in technical support, etc. Additional facilities created during the assessment period, project, laboratories, continuous improvement, we have already discussed, right? So this is by and large what is expected to be filled in an SAR, academic assessment, improvement in placement study and higher studies. So in improvement, what normally happens, you find a consistency. So if there is a consistency, you get marks for that. Improvement in the quality of the students admitted. So the entrance examination level, etc., has been looked into it. So then first year academics, it's already been discussed. Attainment levels, action taken, student support system, what is there? You have to mention mentoring system, if it is there. Feedback analysis for the facilities, self-learning, career guidance, training placement. All these things, I think in your institute, they would be there, and but you need to have an evidence for all of them, right? So co-curricular activities, organizational, institutional support system, a governing body, and all those details are there. So these are being taken care at the institute level. So this covers almost the entire process of filling of the SAR by the institute. So with this, I stop now. Would there are any questions? Ah, it is clearly mentioned in the evaluation guidelines. Been mentioned that these are the criteria you need to be mentioned. So you're talking about 5.5 now, right? So use of ICT industry instructional deliveries, instructional methods, and so on. So there are some criteria for this. Faculty development, participation in 2 to 5 days faculty development program. You got 3 points if on an average the entire faculty. It could be within and outside both, right? This is participation. Now, herein, research and development, here you can mention all these things. Okay. Yes. Annie, look, this is it's not only the publication, it is involving the quality publication, SCIC journals, books, chapters, etc., and the conferences being organized, FDPs being organized, everything can come over here in research. Workshops being organized also. Okay. It could be. It could be. Suppose any XYZ faculty members wants to float an elective, and he develops the entire course module. That's a new course module. It is if it is there. That's what it was earlier been asked also. Yeah. Once. The year in which the project was allocated. That year only. You cannot divide it into 3 and 4 or something like that. And eventually it is going to come same. Say during CAY M1 or say during M3 you got some project worth say 12 crore, right? And it was for a 3-year duration, and 4 crore, 4 crore, 4 crore for each year it was staggered. So when you average out, it will be the same. No. No, before M3. Before M1. No, that cannot be mentioned in this. During the assessment, the projects being allocated to the institute or the department or the faculty of the department during the assessment period, that is to be considered. No, worth of the project. What it's not the first year grant or a second year grant. It is the worth, say, as I've said,
allocated to the institute.
Amount allocated for this project
to the
in which year?
institute.
That's it.
Like there are multiple institute projects also. So our contribution that we will count.
Yes.
Amount for that particular 1 year. One assessment period.
During the assessment period.
तो इन 3 साल में कभी भी आपको मिला तो बस वो
उसके
yes. Yes.
So that's all from my side.
Okay. So right.
Project will consider only the government.
Industry projects can also be considered. Yeah, that would be taken care of separately. Right. The amount allocated to you, it is not. The amount allocated to you would be considered.
Okay. Any other question?
Any kind of consultancy, any kind of consultancy.
Okay. Any other questions?
Mm. It's very simple. When you see the entire, I mean, you might have already seen and probably understood the entire mechanism for this. Criteria 1 is about the institute. You don't have to do much. Evaluator could just physically see the institute and more or less he'll judge what is to be filled in the criteria 1. Criteria 2 and 3 are the most important criteria need to be filled in with utmost care. Criteria 4, 5 are quantitative. You don't have any other option. Whatever information is there, it has to be mentioned. Criteria 6, again, those things are available physically. You have to show them. Then criteria 7 is again you need to produce. So to my understanding is criteria 2, 3 and 7.
Okay. So thank you, sir. And Professor Rangnath was with us in the morning session.
Okay.
So he had online talk. He could not come physically.
So many of the things I have discussed with him and then so I've taken it.
Yes. Thank you, Dilip sir, for coming here, spending time with us and clearing a lot of doubts that we had. I request Professor Khatri to hand over a small token of appreciation to sir.
Is that required?
Yes, sir. And those of you who don't know, Professor Dilip was PhD co-guide of Professor Khatri. And thank you, sir.
Thank you. Right. So,
Okay, so thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
We are closing day 7. For tomorrow, we are tentatively starting at 10 a.m. in LT5 only. There will be one valedictory and feedback session before lunch. There can be a slight change in the morning schedule because there is some hint from MNIT director that he may cancel due to some prior engagement. So I'll update you with the schedule in the night time. Right now we are scheduled to start at 10 a.m. and we'll have it in LT5. Thank you, everyone.